When it comes to jams, jellies, preserves, everything in that realm, Allison Carroll Duffy wrote the book. Literally, Preserving with Pomona's Pectin is the new updated version of her cookbook. She's with us in the 207 Kitchenette Main Studios, and we're making a key ingredient for pie. You can't make pie without the pie filling. What kind are we doing today?
We are doing strawberry rhubarb pie filling.
All right, we got the rhubarb, we got the strawberries. Where do we start?
Favorite. So, pound of rhubarb.
Yes.
Okay, this is about a pound here. You're going to slice it lengthwise and cut it into sort of like 3/4 inch chunks, essentially, like this. I've already done that here.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and put that right in the pot to get it heating up. And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water. And then you can stir that a little bit while we're just going to get that heated up. So then the other part are the berries, right?
Yes.
So we've got 1 pound of strawberries. This is about a pound.
Got it.
And I've already prepared them here. So washed and stemmed.
Yes.
Ready to go.
Okay.
We're going to add those in just a minute. We're going to let that heat up in a second.
Okay.
A little bit more. So we're going to add in now the calcium water. Oh, so let me talk about how to make this calcium water.
Okay.
This is a component of our pectin.
Yes.
Okay, so the pectin we're using today is called Pomona's Universal Pectin. And it's a different kind of pectin in that it gels with the addition of calcium rather than the addition of sugar, which is a little different than other pectins.
Okay.
So the first thing that you start with is you make your calcium water right here, which is a ½ teaspoon calcium powder, which is in here, ½ cup of water, and you put it in this jar, and then you're just going to keep this in the fridge. So every time you want to make jam with this pectin, you've got this.
Ready to go.
All right, so we're going to put in here, going to put in 2 teaspoons of the calcium water. Right there.
What does that taste like when you just have it straight?
It tastes pretty much like nothing, honestly, and it'll last for a long time. You can taste it if you want.
I've never really heard of it. People aren't hammering that stuff down.
Now we're going to add the strawberries in there, start stirring those up, and then our lemon juice. We've got 2 tablespoons of lemon juice that we're going to put in.
Do I have to stir these gently so they don't get
exactly.
don't get broken up?
Exactly. So kind of like just with like you know, when you think of pie filling, you want kind of whole pieces of fruit in there.
Yeah.
So exactly.
We're not making jam here.
Exactly. So essentially, we're just trying to heat them up.
Yes.
So while you're going with that, we're going to go to the next part of the pectin, which is the pectin powder, which is in this little packet here.
Right.
And I've got it measured out here. We've got 2½ teaspoons pectin powder. And that's going to get added to the sugar. We've got 1 1/3 cups of sugar.
Now this is the thickener that holds this together, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the reason that you add the pectin to the sweetener rather than directly in there is that it can clump a bit if it goes directly in, whereas if you mix it in really well with the sweetener, it distributes it, and then when you add the sugar to that, it'll dissolve well.
Got it.
So how's that looking?
Well, I personally think I'm doing a superb job of stirring here, but you tell me.
It looks good. It looks good. Does it look like the strawberries are hot? I think they're getting pretty close.
I think they are.
Yeah,
because this is hot.
Yeah, that's great, and they're still nice and whole, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, again, that's
your technique.
excellence in stirring.
All right, so we're going to add the sugar pectin mixture,
okay.
And then your job is to stir it a lot so that we dissolve the pectin as quickly as possible.
Taking advantage of a strong back and a weak mind here, just keep stirring.
So what's going to happen now is that will dissolve over the next couple of minutes, and then we're going to bring it back up to a boil.
How do you know when it's ready to? When it truly has dissolved, it's just when that's...
You basically, for like a minute, you're going to want to stir it.
Okay.
And that's sort of about the time that we estimate for it to dissolve. You can't really see it, but if you, and during that time, it's going to be coming back to a boil.
Okay.
So pretty much once it's back at a boil, as long as you've been stirring well, you can pretty much count on the pectin being dissolved. So this was considered done when it returns to a boil.
Okay.
And then after that, we will be putting it into, I like to have it in the pint jars.
Right.
In the pint jars, and it'll take 2 pint jars for pie filling.
So all one would do is let this dissolve, bring it back up to a boil, then you let it cool.
Correct.
And then?
Yes, so you definitely want it cool if you're going to use these glass jars, you know, to avoid breakage.
So we can't exactly bring this all the way to conclusion, but you get the idea, especially anyone who's done this kind of thing before.
Exactly, and so this, you don't need to can this. This can store well in the refrigerator, or it can go right in your pie. You know, as long as it's cool. It also will freeze well as long as you leave some space at the top of the jar.
Oh, that's good to know. So you're eating strawberry rhubarb pie in December and January while the rest of us are feeling sad for ourselves.
That's the idea.
That's good to go. The recipe is, as always, on our website. Go to newscentermaine.com/207. You'll also find it on the app, and you'll find more information about Allison Carroll Duffy and her work in preserves as well. Allison, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was fun. Stick around. Back with more in just a moment.